disruptor in healthcare to Pete Snyder, disruptor of everything there is to disrupt. Now, Pete, I got to get this microphone straight here. Why don't you go there?
My question.
Can you? No. Well, okay, do that, but just move over so you can speak into it. Much better. Either one, but you got to get up because of the noise.
I will, of course.
The noise volume there. And we'll get you set up here. Very nice. Okay, we're going to turn Dales off and get Pete Snyder here right on. Pete of Disruptor Capital, and Pete ran for Lieutenant Governor, as you know, in Virginia 2013. Pete, welcome.
Johnny, great to be back with you.
Pete, wow, lots of interesting things going on in Virginia. We have 3 discredited statewide office holders. We call the governor Governor Tunnels, Pete, because he can't get in and out of the mansion without going under a tunnel. And we have a theme song now for the First Lady of Virginia. Very nice lady, Pam Northam. Very nice lady, but we have a theme song for her that we play every day, Cotton Eye Joe. So she's got her own theme song going. Meantime, there's going to be...
You're bad, Johnny. You're bad.
...in the House on Justin Fairfax. That's not a good situation. And then, of course, we've got the Attorney General Blackface, who said the governor should have resigned for blackface, but then he had blackface, but the feckless Democrat politicians don't want him to resign because he'll be replaced by a Republican. Finally admitted by Don Beyer, the only honest Democrat in the bunch, Pete, because he was a car dealer. And we all know that car dealers are honest. There's the state of the Democratic Party in Virginia. Pete, what do you think?
Well, John, you've been around CPAC for the past couple days, and usually, you say you're from Virginia and you hear wonderful, oh my gosh, you're just across the river. Why aren't we having CPAC in Virginia? I mean, talk about economic development there. This time, I've had people come up to me every single moment and say, Pete, what the heck is going on in your state? What is going on there? And it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the Commonwealth. It's an embarrassment to the nation. I think suffice to say, this was the worst Black History Month in the history of honoring Black history in the Commonwealth and across the nation. And it's just sad. But turning to another note, I don't know if you saw, and I hate to actually pimp out the Washington Post, but DJ Jordan. DJ's running for terrific conservative, running for delegate in Northern Virginia, did an unbelievable op-ed piece that's in there today talking about what's happened over the past month and really our path forward. And DJ is a bright, shining light in our conservative movement. He's going to win in November, and we need him. And, we need to move on. We need to move on from this failed leadership, and we need to start bringing our Commonwealth forward. And it's happening now. You can feel the energy out there. At first, it was shock, and then disgust, and then rage, and now action. It's time to get this thing done.
And this is even before you start the hearings in the House of Delegates, which Speaker Cox said he's going to go forward with because he believes that the women who have the allegations against Justin Fairfax for sexual assault, and one of them actually said the word rape, the Speaker believes that their voices should be heard.
John?
It was the Democrats who spent 3 weeks, the Democrats in the House, led by Eileen Fillercorn, who blocked them.
It's just unbelievable. And you see what she said during the Kavanaugh hearings, the rush to judgment that happened there. But, when you actually have a D besides your name, you get different standards. And, we conservatives have felt that for a very long time. The media has a double standard, John. That's why you're doing as well as you're doing, because you're calling the shots. You're calling it out. And, it's just a very sad chapter for the Commonwealth. And, it sickens me to watch it. Unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we got to turn the page.
So let's just get to the 2019 election. And I'll give you my assessment, and then I want to get yours, both houses. So I think the Republicans are going to pick up 3 to 5 seats and maintain control. What about you?
I'm wildly optimistic, John. I think you're dead on in your prediction. Look, going into this, let's not lie. The Republican Party has had a very bad track record over the past 10 years, hanging on to both chambers by a thread, going into what we believe were strong political headwinds in 2019. not only do I think we have a fighting chance, I think we're going to pull it off.
Yeah, I think you're going to maintain the House of Delegates. The state Senate is a different story. I can't see the Republicans winning that seat in Loudoun County. Was it District 13, Dick Black? I mean, I'm sure you're going to have to toe the line, but I just don't see it. So
yeah, look, John, I'm not going to. I don't need to toe the line for anyone. I got to tell you that I don't need to toe the line for anyone.
It's a difficult seat.
It's a difficult seat. I will say that there is going to be a rising tide out there. You know, John, our friend John Whippex, running for county chairman of chairman of the board of supervisors in Loudoun. He's putting together a great campaign. They have major issues when it comes to the Greenway and tolls that are going on out there. Residents of Loudoun County are getting absolutely hammered by these out-of-control tolls, and a current chairman that's just out of touch with her constituents. So I think John's going to bring an extra couple points to action there, and hopefully we can hang on to that seat.
Well, you need a candidate. So far, you don't have one to beat John Bell. But I think worse the Republicans do in the state Senate is 2020. Of course, when that happens, you never know. There might be somebody that switches over, makes a power sharing deal. You never know when it's 2020.
Johnny, it sounds like the rumor mill is going. What do you have?
You never know.
Share it with your listeners. Come on, Godzilla.
You just don't know what's going to happen, and you just got to go forward and see what happens there. Pete Snyder with us. Pete, the chairman and founder of Disruptor Capital, and the original disruptor of all time in Virginia, but he's here with us on the John Fredericks Radio Network at TPAC Radio Row in the People's Republic of Maryland. Pete, let's get to the Pete Snyder show here. Now,
let's get to the biggest question here. Is I think I'm the only person today in this whole hullabaloo that has a smile on their face about Bryce Harper, right, John? You're tried and true Astros, and I'm a Phillies fan, and I don't hide it from anyone. And I got to say, I'm excited to have Bryce Harper as part of the Phillies. I think we're rising in the East, and I think we're going to hopefully show down against your Astros late in the season. And I like it. I like the deal, and the thing I like about it the most, even though it's a 13-year deal. As you know, that AOC has predicted the end of the world in 12 years. So I feel the Phillies get a freebie for that. They're not on the hook for that last season.
It's right because the world ends. I mean, look, it's easy for us on the outside to make fun of the deal, right? But truth be told, there's a little jealousy. No question.
Of course there is.
Because you look at 13 years, you know he's not going to play that long, and he can get hurt and all that. But it's really, if you look at it, it's what, $27 million a year or something. I mean, it's not exactly going to break the Phillies. They're still going to have money to.
It's a better deal than it's a better deal for them than but also what the Nationals were offering Harper. They were offering him 10 years at 30. Yeah. So I'll take 27 at 13.
No, I think and the thing about the Phillies is it's not like Machado and San Diego when they were finished 25 games out. They have a good young team, but a long way to go. People, don't forget the Phillies were in first place until mid-August when they faded.
It was horrible.
They collapsed. But a lot of people thought they were going to win that division, and they made a lot of additions, not a lot of subtractions.
Johnny, the Sixers are on the rise. The Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. The Phillies are doing it.
The Sixers are going to win the East. I don't have any doubt there. I predict that at the beginning of the season. Sixers are going to win the East. I think they're the up and coming team, and they're going to rival Golden State pretty soon. So you're in pretty good shape with your Philadelphia teams. But I'll tell you this: if you guys signed Dallas Keuchel, and he's deciding now, I just heard last night from my son. It's between re-signing with the Astros for 1 year, and the Phillies have offered him a 3-year deal at $32 million. So
you met him in the bathroom at the White House, didn't you?
Yes, my son got his picture taken with Dallas Keuchel.
I don't want to picture how that went down, but yes. You got to take every opportunity you got.
In the bathroom, in fact, it was my son's idea because he wanted to get his picture taken at the White House with these Astros, and they were going to meet with the president. And he's like, well, where should we go? He said, well, they just got off the bus, right? They're going to have to go to the bathroom, so why don't we just stand here by the bathroom? So we stood there with the bathroom. Strategic
thinking. How old was Joey at that?
13.
13. That is a crafty.
13. It was 13. It was 13 at the time. And so we staked out in the bathroom by the White House, and he got his picture taken with every darn one of them. They all went to the bathroom. And the one after the other, they took the picture with him. He's a crafty little bugger, I'll tell you that.
He's got a future in media, right? How many times have you staked out people and gotten the goods?
You know what? There's coming out of the bathroom is always the way to get them. Might not want to shake their hand, but it's always the way to get them. Pete Snyder with us. We're going to have you for another segment here for a couple more minutes if you have time.
Absolutely, Johnny.
Because we want to keep talking. We have to keep making fun of Virginia. But you're right,
Johnny. We're not going to make fun of Virginia. We got to turn the page.
No, you got to.
It's been hard
here, and people say, "Oh, aren't you from Virginia?" I'm sorry. I mean, it's really a joke. It's like Manny Mo and Jack running the government.
I've had about 3 meals offered to me because, Pete, you look peaked about what's been going on. You know, how can we help you? How can we help the Commonwealth? We don't deserve, well, after these actions, we do deserve to be a charity case, but we got to turn the page, John.
When we get back, Pete Snyder, does he have a political future in Virginia? We're going to find out. Keep it right here, John Fredericks Radio Network in the People's Republic of Maryland at TPAC Radio Row. John Fredericks Radio Network, Pete Snyder back with us, your Godzilla of the Truth in America. Pete, good to have you with us.
Johnny, great to be with you.
So I'm putting up a billboard on I-95 and 64, Terry McAuliffe with a beer saying, "Miss me yet?" based on the Manny Mo and Jack episode we have. What do you think?
I love it. Hey, talk about going viral for the John Fredericks show. You know,
is that funny,
Johnny? Any stunt you got to pull it.
Governor McGenius with a glass.
He would actually rather have you put that up in Des Moines or Ames. So
we're putting it up on I-64 and 95. I'm getting the artwork done now. I had to actually talk to him the other day and said, "Hey, you know, I'm actually going to do this, but FCC lawyers say I got to get your written approval on it." So we did that. So
he's sending a check to a third party, and then it's going up, I imagine.
No, you can't do that. That would be campaign violation. But I'm sure when the time comes, he will jump all over himself to be advertising on the John Fredericks Radio Network when he's running in the Virginia Super Tuesday primary, if Bernie Sanders isn't too far ahead by that time. Okay, let's get to Pete Snyder's political future in Virginia. Pete, 2021. What do you think? Is there a Pete Snyder for governor campaign in our future?
Johnny, you and I always shoot straight. Simple answers, I don't know. What I do know is this. After watching the disgrace that our leadership in the Commonwealth has shown over the past month, but you go back into the way the campaign was run in 2017 and the charges against Ed Gillespie that all three of those Democratic candidates made, completely unfounded. What the media did, completely unfounded. You got to scratch your head and say, if you've been involved in the public arena before, you got to say, what are we doing here? What the hell is going on? And how do we make things better? So, and I know that's happening to dozens of folks who've been involved in politics and policy for a while, especially on the Republican side, saying, how do we get our acts together here? And we know that we can offer better solutions. You know, of all things, talking about the Maxter, I ran into him the other day, and first thing out of his mouth is, "Pete, how are we going to attract businesses to Virginia when we have this going on?" That's from Terry McAuliffe. You know, we have our higher education system that has had, costs skyrocketing over the past 10 years. You have students in Virginia, families that can't get their straight A students into UVA or William & Mary, and when they finally do, costs go up by double digits nearly every single year. So we got to get that under control. Now, the answer is not what the Bernie bros say of, "Hey, look, make it all free." Let's focus on the institutions. If this were the pharmaceutical industry, John, the left would be saying, "Hey, wait a minute, you had a drug that cost $30 10 years ago, now it costs $3,000. Let's string up the CEO, let's shut the company down." No one's saying that about our institutions of higher education. They're just saying, "Oh, let's just pay for it." We need to look at what is really, truly going on there, where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, and get it under control.
You know what, Pete, that is two great things you said. The whole university thing, I think, has to be looked at. That could be, if you do run for governor, one of your platforms. But interesting, too, that conversation with Terry McGenius, as I call him. I mean, not talking about the politics of it, but how to get jobs in Virginia. And he could actually be a player in this nominating process if he would take the approach of just rejecting the whole left-wing crazies.
Well, and John, I got to tell you,
But he's not gonna do it.
when did you ever expect? I know you've been a Macker lover for a long time. I never expected to be having a conversation with you in private or on the radio praising Terry McAuliffe. But I got to say, it took a lot of courage for him. He went on the Sunday shows. He went on CBS right when the Northam thing came out, and he said that bill that went through the House was absolute infanticide. And how could anyone, whether a Republican or a Democrat, support a bill like that? He condemned it. He also condemned the actions of all three of their statewide officials. I mean, like him or not, Terry, business-wise, had a very good record in Virginia.
Absolutely.
And all of this is overshadowing the good work he did in trying to attract businesses to Virginia, to help the Virginia brand overall. And it's a travesty.
Right. And he said he said if that bill got to his desk, he'd have vetoed it before the ink was dry.
Well, he said he never would have allowed that
it to go
freshman delegate to put that into the mainstream.
Right.
He said, Pete, that wouldn't happen under my administration.
His people would have seen that, and he would have called up Delegate Tram and said, "You got 20 minutes to get this off the docket."
It is an absolute lack of leadership across the board, and desperate cling to power. And that's really what's going on here.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a desperate cling to power. If they didn't have a D by their name, they'd be out the door.
Absolutely. Pete Snyder. Pete, thanks for being with us here on TPAC Radio Row. Thank you so much. Look for more for Pete Snyder. Could run for governor 2021. Has not ruled out a run for governor, Pete Snyder.
Johnny, good to be with you, my man. Go Phils.
Thank you. Phillies getting Bryce Harper, and could be Phillies Astros World Series, of which I will take.
And you're buying the seats.
I will take you to Houston. You take me to Philadelphia.
I'll get some double D batteries, John. We're all ready for you to enter Citizens Bank Park. You got it.